Good morning and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Friday, April 26, 2019.
Commissioner Garcia, Cabello, Davis, and Caloza are present. Vice President Cabello, we do have a quorum. May we start with bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Art Martinez with Street Services.
Good morning, Eddie Chavez with the Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Wesley Tenageri, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Anita Fernandez, LA Sanitation.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Vice President Cabello, we did receive one speaker card under general public comment today. We also received a speaker card on item number 1 and 2 for today's agenda.
Okay, let's go ahead and close the Neighborhood Council commentary and take up general public comment. Mr. Williams.
Got it. Good morning. Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council and Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. For public comment, basically, I think the neighborhood councils need more from the board. We occasionally get things noticed to us, but there seems to be more on next door than there is to the neighborhood councils. We often get things on next door before we get them from the Board of Public Works. So we're quite concerned regarding that. Also, many people need to find out about how to set up spatial assessment districts because they complain to us about not having enough lights, not having this, not having that, always not having. But what do we tell them? We tell them, go to the Board of Public Works. Meets 3 times a week, much more than the neighborhood councils. But it's too far, too long, and they're uncomfortable. So if we could find out more about what's happening in the Board of Public Works, in the Department of Public Works, through all of the neighborhood councils, it would be good. One element is the Office of Community Beautification. We have committees on greening and neighborhood beautification. However, many of the members do not know that there is an office. We used the Office of Community Beautification a couple years ago to spread 500 cubic yards of mulch. Why? It made it look nice. We got the equipment from the Office of Community Beautification and we did the work and gave them back the equipment. And it worked out well. But a lot of neighborhood councils
2 minutes.
Don't have that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. And just a gentle reminder that the Board of Public Works does meet quarterly in various communities in conjunction with neighborhood councils in the evening. So we'll make it point to get out to LA 32 very soon. Thank you. And with that, we'll close general public comment. That takes us to our first item of business, approval of the minutes for the meeting of Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Is there a second in my motion to approve both meeting minutes? Seconded by Commissioners Garcia and Davis. Next we have our first item on the agenda, item number 1 in Council District 1, contract amendment, Coalition for Responsible Community Development. Recommended the board, number 1, authorize the Community of Beautification to execute a contract amendment with the Coalition for Responsible Community Development in the amount of $29,960 to provide funding for supplemental community beautification services in Council District 1 during calendar year 2019, and 2, authorize the President or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the Office of the City Attorney. We do have a speaker card on this item. Dr. Williams, would you like to come on up?
Hey, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community, Office of Community Beautification. We've used them. They need a big signboard whenever a group is using the equipment and or being paid to do work for the Office of Community Beautification. When we see the big green trucks coming by, we know that that's sanitation. Where's sanitation? There's sanitation. So I might say, get the advertising out. And for our mulch along Mission Road, just put a sign up, free. Nobody knows it's there except for the landscapers and a few of us. Get advertising out. I would highly recommend also that this organization that's going to get some funding and equipment and or services, make sure that they coordinate with the neighborhood council where they do the work. And that's one of the issues. Sometimes we don't know what's going on in the Board of Public Works or in the Department of Public Works. We can help. We need help. So it's a matter of working closely together. And Office of Community Beautification sounds good. I prefer, sanitation and environment, but that's from history. So get more of what you're doing good out to the communities that you are doing the good in. And I might say in September and October, it'll be potholes. So that's street services. And we need more coordination on that. We know where all the potholes are. So beautification, more is needed. More publicity is needed for the office. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Mr. Rax.
Good morning, Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification. Thank you to Dr. Williams for your comments. Just as an FYI, about a year ago, our office went out to every single neighborhood council and gave a presentation on our services, and we'd be happy to go out to LA 32 or any neighborhood council again and talk about our services. And we'll look online. Anyway, so the Office of Community Beautification maintains contracts with various nonprofit community-based organizations who provide cleanup and beautification services across the city. The Coalition for Responsible Community Development is one of these agencies, providing services in portions of South and Central Los Angeles, including graffiti removal, weed and litter cleanup, bulky item pickup, sidewalk repair work, and various other community efforts. The Office of Councilmember Gil Cedillo has transferred funds into the Board of Public Works Contractual Services account in order for OCB to execute a contract amendment with CRCD to provide funding for 5 alley beautification projects in Council District 1. The work shall include alley cleanup, security enhancements, and landscaping at 5 alley locations in the district located in the 600 block of South Alvarado, the 800 block of South Union Avenue, the 1800 block of West 20th Street, the 2200 block of West 14th and 15th Streets, and the 700 block of South Alvarado and South Lake Street. All of those are down in the Pico Union area of the district. Funding has been transferred from the Transfer of Floor Area Rights Public Benefit Payment Trust Fund into the Contractual Services account, and with board authorization, the Office of Community Beautification will be able to execute an amendment to an existing contract to provide these valuable and much needed services in a community in great need of beautification efforts. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Garcia.
First, I want to address Dr. Williams' comment. I think that you're absolutely right. I do want to invite you personally to our second annual beautification conference. That is to highlight our Office of Community Beautification. We sent it out to Neighborhood Council Department. I hope that has gone out our flyer, but it's May 18 here at City Hall. It's the way for us to highlight the Keep LA Beautiful affiliation we have, and it's just really to bring together all beautification community groups and everybody, leaders in this industry, to come together and kind of have a network day, but also a conference and learn different things about what OCB does. So I want to make sure that you're invited as well.
Get you a flyer.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get a flyer for sure. Other than that, I choose to move.
Great. Commissioners, any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate the opportunity that exists here for council members to get some of the young people in their districts involved in the work that they're letting out through this project. Is that still the case?
That is absolutely still the case, yes.
Great, thanks.
Wonderful. Okay. Commissioner Garcia moves. Commissioner Davis seconds. Without objection, we'll adopt this item forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Takes us to item number 2. Item number 2 is an advisement item in all council districts continued from Friday, October 28th, 2018, and Monday, February 25th, 2019. Pipeline franchise agreement, non-compliance with insurance requirements, violations, and monetary penalties. Recommending the board, 1, direct the petroleum administrator to issue violations to the franchisees listed below for failure to comply with section 5.2 insurance requirements of the franchise ordinance. A, Cooper and Brain. E, O'Donnell Oil. F, Praxar Inc. 2, approve the monetary penalty assessed to each franchisee as listed below for failure to comply with section 5.2 insurance requirement of their franchise ordinance. 1, Cooper and Brain, $10,000. 5, O'Donnell Oil, $10,000. 6, Praxair Inc., $10,000. And seeing as we do have one public comment card, let's bring up Dr. Williams first.
Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. Last night, the Inglewood Oil Field Community Standards District had a meeting of their community advisory panel. Over 30 people came out. This is after 10 years of meeting every month, and we've gotten 30 people out. So we're doing an update of that. But one of the things is, who's responsible? We had to go to court in order to get responsibility assigned to the operator who owns some of the property, but leases large areas. Lease, bonds, insurance are, might say, continuing costs. And it's not by lump sum, it's by the day, by the month. So I would highly recommend that all insurances be reviewed and updated, because I doubt if they are current based upon how much it would really cost to clean up an oil spill in a city street. So I would highly recommend that the charges might be by month. $10,000 a month will get their attention real quick. And getting their attention is the main thing. Enforcement is imperative. That's what we were meeting about last night. Not only the enforcement, but what happened, how did it happen, root cause, and how to prevent it in the future. So we're quite interested in how the city of LA is doing their oil and gas franchises, and who is ultimately responsible if it spills under a city street. That is the Department of Public Works and the City of Los Angeles. So I say, since we're the ultimate receiver of the benefits and the costs, highly recommend more enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. We'll close public comment with that. Can I have Ms. Martin come up, please? Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Vice President, Commissioners, and distinguished city family. We're here for the third occasion on the failure of 3 providers to meet the insurance requirements of their current franchises. The one currently before us is item A, Cooper and Brain. They, on February 22nd, actually did provide insurance for pollution, but it does not include the sudden and gradual component that we do require. So they are still considered in violation. Praxair has come into compliance, which is item E, and O'Donnell was actually continued until June 26th. What we would request is that with Cooper and Brain still being non-compliant, that they be issued a $10,000 penalty.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Vice President Cabello. Question, the $10,000 is a penalty, right? How long is this for? Like they missed being compliant for how long, and how often do we impose a $10,000 penalty?
There is a schedule, and currently with the matter before the board, we have not gone ahead and pursued additional violations. This is the first monetary penalty that they would be charged. If they do not come into compliance, we will start the violations again and then come back to the board for further penalties.
Okay. And they've been notified of all this, right?
Yes, the most recent contact was by the petroleum administrator, who I'm sorry to say is out ill today. He contacted them on April 15th of this year, but there has been no further update on the insurance.
Okay, and they were aware that this was going to be on the table today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Campos, is there anything that needs to be read into the record to amend the item?
Yes, there is. So if the motion were to be presented by the commission, it would be to adopt the item as amended to remove or to delete items 1F since Praxair is now in compliant, and also 2.6 Praxair is now in compliant. So the only penalties being assessed today would be to Cooper and Brain.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues, any other questions? Is there a second in my motion that we adopt item 2 as amended forthwith? Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Without objection, we will adopt the item forthwith.
Thank you.
This takes us to our third item in the agenda, item number 3 in Council District 6, contract acceptance, Donald C. Tillman, Admin Building Sewer Vent Repairs. Recommending the board, 1, accept this contract. Seeing as there is no public comment in this item, I think we have Mr. Ollinger with us for item number 3.
Good morning. John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for your acceptance on the Donald C. Tillman Administration Building Sewer Vent Repairs. On May 26, 2016, your board authorized the city engineer to utilize the current on-call contract for the DCT Water Reclamation Plant Emergency Administration Building Sewer Vent Replacement Project. Murray Plumbing and Heating, also DBA Murray Company, was issued a construction order and was the top listed contractor on the rotational on-call list under contract number C114648, and the work order for the project was SZD 11315. The engineer's estimate for this project was $300,000. The authority to proceed was issued on June 13, 2016. Work began on June 13, 2016, and was completed on November 6, 2017. The project consisted of demolishing all cast iron sewer vent lines at the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant building and replacement with new pipe, installation of a check valve and the DCT Water Reclamation Plant building sewer discharge line was installed to prevent any backup of sewer gases from the plant's main sewer. The final cost of the project was $90,553. There were no funds disputed or withheld, therefore there are no funds due to the contractor. Are there any questions?
Colleagues? Is there a second in my motion? Okay. Everyone's very excited. A second. Seconded by motion to adopt item number 3 forthwith. I think Dr. Davis and Commissioner Garcia second my motion. Any objections? Hearing none, the item is approved forthwith. Thank you. Actually, stay right there. Item number 4, contract in Council District 4, contract acceptance, Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Tertiary Filter Replacement CIP 4136. Recommending the board accept this contract. Mr. Ollinger.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for your acceptance on the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Tertiary Filter Replacement. It was CIP 4136, and the work order was SCL 11184. The contract was executed by your board on August 21st, 2013, in the amount of $3,190,490. The construction was completed on February 9th, 2017 by PPC Construction, Inc. under contract number C122809, and the bond number was 625093. The project provided for the removal and the relocation of 4 aqua disc tertiary filters, 3 vertical turbine pumps, instruments, valves, and supports and assemblies from the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant, and relocation and installation to the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant. The project also provided for demolition of the underground piping at the DCT Water Reclamation Plant and salvage of one vertical pump. There were no disputed funds or withheld funds for this project, therefore there are no funds due to the contractor. Are there any questions?
Colleagues?
Is there a second to my motion that we approve item 4 forthwith? Commissioners Coloza and Davis second, and without objection, this item is approved forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This takes us to our 5th and final item on the agenda. Item 5 is an oral report on stormwater capture from the Bureau of Sanitation. I think we have Mr. Tija and another gentleman whose name I didn't get.
Good morning, Vice President, Commissioners, Bureau Reps, and Executive Officer. My name is Ryan Tija with LA Sanitation. I'm a civil engineer with the Watershed Protection. Today, we want to give you an update, quarterly update on how our stormwater projects have been doing in the last 3 months and how much rain we were able to capture. This has been, as you know, a good season for LA in terms of rainfall. We have received more than average rainfall. And the way the rainfall came was pretty good also because we had a lot of small rain events that are spread out throughout the season. So a lot of our projects are able to capture quite a bit of runoff into the groundwater basins. So with that said, I would like to formally introduce my new colleague, James Eldridge. He's a UC Riverside graduate. He started his career with the city 2 weeks ago, so he's very brand new, and he will be giving the rest of the presentation to today. Thank you.
Welcome to the city.
Good morning, Vice President Cecilia Cabello, Commissioners, and Bureau representatives. Today I'll be reporting on stormwater capture projects using green stormwater infrastructure and giving an update on the recent projects that have been completed. As we go to our page 2, or slide 2 over here. Throughout these slides, I will go over a range of projects spanning from the institutional scale with the low impact development projects, or LID, the distributed scale with the Green Street. These are more in residential neighborhoods and business sidewalks, and also the regional scale with what they call BMPs, our best management projects, and these include our wetlands and parks. So these are all projects going on right now. For our third page, I'll give just a few examples of private development or LID projects. These are works that have been completed. They take in many forms, such as cisterns, rain barrels, planter boxes. These are things that individual homes can do. As you can see, these areas range being utilized by commercial properties to residential homes. And as of March 2019, the 3,611 plans have been reviewed and approved with LID components. These are additions so integrated into the environment, you might walk across them and not notice that the landscaping is making an environmental impact. So keep an eye out for these. And major ongoing project is the LAWA, the Los Angeles World Airport LAMP expansion. And WPD is charged with the task of ensuring the implementation of the municipal stormwater permit requirements. So this is a project that is currently going on. For our next page, we have our Van Nuys Boulevard Great Street, and there are a total of 18 great streets in LA right now. And so basically these are planned infrastructure improvements to provide more safety and comfortable streets. And these are improvements that are coming from people, and they're also allowed to give input. And our involvement is the Green Street to help capture rainwater. As you can see in this picture here, here we can see during the rain, the dry well and the bioswale, these two components, is doing its job of collecting and cleaning stormwater. And the total acreage for this project is 100 acres, and we can estimate about 95 acre feet per year. And our next slide is our Lancashire Boulevard, another great street. And this project we're working on it has bioswales constructed from several shops, and that leads to the beautification of the city. Okay, as we continue on to our Bradley Plaza Green Alley. This is a slightly different example. It has a smaller drainage area of 4 acres, but the design phase is 100% complete, and we're expecting construction to begin in June. And this project has been approved by the City Council action. And this is just an example of WPD thinking outside the box and utilizing different spaces, which will contribute to the appearance and the safety of local neighborhoods. For our slide 7, this is just a few of the upcoming San Fernando Valley green projects. No pictures here, but just to update you on we're working on the Agnes Avenue Green Street, Victory Boulevard Green Street, and Glen Oaks. And so we get these certain locations by checking on the areas of high flooding and the optimum locations for construction. And we've determined these sites as good utilization for space for stormwater capture. Our next, now we'll be moving on to talk about our regional scale projects. This is one at Albion Riverside Greenway Park. The improvements that we have made include diversions, CDS units, permeable pavements, and bioswales. So a lot of stuff going on here. This park is Lincoln Heights, next to the Downey Recreation Center. And on March 30, 2019, was a ribbon cutting ceremony, and it had a good turnout. And so far, the residents have been happy with the improvements that have been made. And, okay, our next slide, slide 9, Argo Drain. This is located on LAWA, the Los Angeles World Airport property. And this is a lot bigger than the other ones, 2,400 acres. But the drainage channel transports stormwater via gravity to a diversion structure, and the flow will be treated and pumped into these underground, you can see here, this underground infiltration galleries, and then recharges the water basin, probably cleaning up a lot of the stuff from the airplanes. And our last slide here, there's a lot going on in this graph, I understand, but the takeaway of this graph is analyzing the amount of rain we had last year. As Ryan mentioned earlier, it rained less during October and November, as we can see from the top of the graph, and as it's coming down, during December is when we reached our peak. And we'll compared to last year, which only had 5 inches of rain, this year we had a total of 18 inches of rain, and that's higher than our average of 14 inches. And it also helped that the rain events were sporadic, and this helped for the bioswales and the dry wells to really contain the water and not be overly flooded and over exceed its capacity, which will just make it, flow past the bioswales there. And so, yeah, so we have down here, on the bottom of the graph, is just showing that historically we have been catching 1.89 billion gallons, but this year we've collected a total of 2.65 billion gallons. So we've overexceeded the average. It's now 140%, and so we think that's a good progress for this year for the projects. And just for our last slide, we just put in another little thing right here for our annual Earth Day event, which is coming up, and it will be in Woodley Park. And in this event, we're just showing that, we're not just involved in just construction of projects, but these are community outreach events where people come, you can bring your kids, there's fun zones, there's art, entertainment. And so we're still really involved with the community, or trying to be. And last slide, we just want to open it up to any questions you have for us. Also, we have these sites here, lacity.org, LA City SAN, One Water LA. And yes, so we can take any questions now.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
So, Mr. Ottridge, is that correct?
Yes.
This is your first presentation before the board?
Yes, this is the first
great.
presentation.
Well, welcome to the board. And in terms of the projects, they were diverse projects, particularly in various regions of the city. As we think about this stormwater capture utilization projects that we've been doing, what impact would you say we've made overall with these that you have presented to us today in terms of the goals that you have for the program? What's your observation?
I believe they're catching a lot more stormwater, I think we have a higher goal to recharge these groundwater basins. And not only that, I believe that especially in places like the Van Nuys, Boulevard, Great Street, it's a coalition between a lot of different departments. There's LA Department of Transportation, the Bureau of Engineering. A lot of people will now be able to get together and connect these different engineering departments to also work on things to not just help well, we're collecting stormwater, but to help beautifying and making these parks. And so I think I see a lot of things being done, like maybe in the San Fernando Valley, but I know they're coming down also into the West LA and stuff. So I think we're starting to see, it's kind of like a pilot program to see how can we not only make these things helpful for the environment, but for the community and how they're going to respond to it. And I think they're responding well to a lot of the projects that we're doing, especially the Prop O projects, Echo Park, MacArthur Park, and things
And
like
this
that.
is in fact a Prop O project.
There's a few of these here are Prop O. Some of these are receiving money from different measures, but yeah.
Great, and I think you make a great point about the collaboration that is taking place in this project as well as a pilot project. Are there other projects that we're doing similarly in the future that you know of or that your colleague knows of? Is this the only such project, or are there others similar to this that we'll be doing in the future?
Thank you for the questions. That's a really good segue to some of the projects that we're branching out. So we've done quite a lot of pilot projects in terms of, small skills that we can put at existing public right-of-ways. As you all know, real estate is really expensive in LA, so we're trying to use the existing city space. So we've done quite a lot of projects, and they are successful. They're completed, and we have been monitoring their progress. So with the information that we have, with the experience that we had, we're going to be doing quite a lot of those. We're going to be replicating all those small projects as well as large-scale projects that you've seen in Prop O throughout the city, wherever we can. So that is our ultimate goal, because in order for us to comply with the Clean Water Act, we have to do a lot of those everywhere, and that would be the way to go.
I think Mr. Tam would like to chime in if you give him a second, Commissioner Davis.
Sure.
I'd come in and talk a little about it. My name's Wing Tam from LA Sanitation, and I really appreciate, we got a new person here, we got some seasoned person here kind of mentoring our younger people here to really get them to understand a lot of things we're doing with green infrastructure. But to answer some of the questions, I know down the line, this is just a start in terms of how we deal with capturing water and where we want to hit with this. But I think the idea behind all this is that we want to start focusing a little bit more in underserved areas that we really could benefit from these type of project, not just from water capture, but from green community, but also from point of view of developing local employment. Because one of the things out of all this is that if you're going to see that in the next phase, we're going to come to you, is that we want to start developing local contractor that could install some of these infrastructure. Because right now we have these big, firms that put some pipes and all that, but we want to start developing some of the smaller companies that could actually help us with this type of work. So that's something that we're looking at in the future, and you're going to see that coming up in the next phase that we have. We probably have somewhere around $14, $15 million of work that we're going to be doing, that we're going to come to you and kind of develop like a mentor program for local communities. So.
And then my final question for Mr. Artridge, of course, is our job to make sure that the new people who present ask some of the tough questions, if you will. And so I will just conclude, Mr. Outridge, why, as a citizen, should I value stormwater capture? Why should I know that stormwater capture is an important task being done by the Bureau of Sanitation?
That's a great question. There's a lot of projects we're from LA, South LA, and when I was growing up, I didn't really understand that, this LA is a desert. And over the years, I learned about the history of receiving our water from a lot of places over 60 miles away, some from the San Joaquin Valley, some from the Owens River, and they're coming down here, but now we can try to battle that in cases of drought like we had last year. it was a lot of people were kind of, scared. There were fires, there were things going on. And so now we can say, okay, where can we get more local water sources, not just expensive things like desalination, but how can we capture some? Can we bring them to our groundwater basins? Can we clean them? Can we make sure that they're clean enough for us to drink? And situations like that, where there's places, other places, even in the U.S., where the drinking water might not be as safe. So we're trying to assure that as sanitation, that people can have good water to drink, that they can, that we're not just dumping stuff into the oceans just from stuff running off in the streets. Can we capture it? Can on the ground filter it? And so, yeah.
Great answer and good job, Bureau of Sanitation. I think the mayor would be proud of what we're doing here today, not only in presenting our proposal before the board, but also demonstrating and reflecting upon the ability for us to bring in a new generation of workers who can grasp some of the skills and concepts that we are implementing for the betterment of the city. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Vice President. I just want to tell you congratulations. You did a really good job in presenting. You didn't look nervous at all. You were fine.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
And all two of you helping him out, getting there, thank you for that. I do want to say thank you for starting your pilot program out in the San Fernando Valley, because as those that do live out in the San Fernando, when we experience heavy rains or just any rain for the past 10, 15 years, it was like, you might as well take out your vote if you have one, because trash cans were in the middle of the street, everything was horrible. And I've seen through the time now, I've lived in the valley now 20-something years, I've seen through time how less and less flooded it has gotten. I thank you for starting in the San Fernando Valley, because it was absolutely needed. I grew up here in South LA, and I didn't see that until I actually lived in the valley of, you actually need a truck to pick up kids and do everything you need to do out there when it rains. So thank you. I just want to say thank you for starting out in the valley. We needed that. We need more of that, if anything. Any type of pilot program will be welcome to diminish the water on the streets when it rains. So thank you to this team.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And let me add to the chorus of thank yous to LA Sanitation and Environment and Mr. Outridge. It's quite an auspicious start you have there. This is fantastic. I think you really highlighted the multi-beneficial use of stormwater capture infrastructure, and the great opportunities we have with Measure W moving forward to build this in all of our streets. The one little comment, just one note, I would say, in the future with presentations or anything listing projects, if you could include the council districts, that would be really helpful for reference for a lot of folks. I know a lot of these were in the valley, but
we'll make sure to do that, yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Tam and Mr. Tihau, you both look like proud papas watching Mr. Outridge here giving a wonderful presentation. So thank you and welcome to the city.
Thank you.
And if no other questions, commissioners, we will note and file item number 5. Dr. Campos, does this clear the desk?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me reopen item number 5. I forgot we have a last-minute public comment card from Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, you have 2 minutes, and then we are free to enjoy our weekend.
I do stormwater, too. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. Basic elements. You have the opportunity to do more, and especially sanitation. If you convert or provide patchwork for all of the green, blue, and black trash barrels, they have wheels. They also are used by me for collecting our rainwater from the roofs. And it provides a convenient, multiple use for those barrels. We have sealed them up so that they're watertight. So there's an opportunity there. But a fundamental that you should take away is that for every 1,000 square foot of roof, you generate 400 gallons in a 3/4 inch rainfall. 2 barrels is irrelevant. So I'd highly recommend that do a patchwork program on all of the trash barrels, because we have 6, because there's 2 houses on lot. So we use those, and they work quite well, and they provide gravity head to circulate the water. And this last year, removing 18 inches of water from two, basically about 1,500, 1,800 square foot roofs, took a little bit of ingenuity. And sometimes the rains came too quick, but we have 13,000 square foot lot. So it's a matter that you have an opportunity. There's also a matter that, did you notice, you were talking about council districts.
2 minutes.
Yeah. How about neighborhood councils? I didn't hear them say one word, and we're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Now, Dr. Campos, we'll go ahead and receive and file item number 5 for real now.
Yes.
And does this really now clear the desk, sir?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. And with that, we are adjourned. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.